All right, so here's the basic deal. Shadow's in the background drinking some water. Now, I want you to know that this video, we are going to take live calls from people asking me Social Security disability law questions. I'm Attorney Walter Hnot, the most viewed, subscribed to, clicked on disability attorney in America. So in many regards, like the most chosen for a lot of this stuff. And so the bottom line is on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're supposed to go live and answer questions for free. That's what I normally do. But I'm getting older, and sometimes, Tuesday, Thursday night, I fall asleep. So instead of that, Saturday night, although we're now into Sunday morning, we're going to be doing basically that. There are some basic rules when it comes to these types of questions when you call in. The basic rules are no story mode. Have your legal question ready. Go ahead and basically be ready with some introductory facts. Be ready with some details about, what's going on. I don't know your whole case file. I haven't read your whole case file. I don't know why, but for some reason, all the people who apply for disability benefits or Social Security benefits think the SSA person has read their entire file. Almost no one does. Your attorney, the judge, that's your closest bet to somebody actually reading the file. So a lot of people are like, I sent it in. Why don't they know? They don't read your file. They don't read your file. That's, I don't know. I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand. But the bottom line is we're going to answer questions. We're going to kick up some dirt. And this is all live. We are live right now. Please remember, if I answer a question for you, if I help you, or even if you learned something and you didn't call in, to consider liking the video, subscribing, things like that. Robert Davis, thank you for becoming an appreciation person. We're going to take the first call right now, but just keep in mind, please remember, if this stuff really helps you out, head over to Google, type in Disability Resolution Law Firm or Disability Resolution Florida, and throw some stars up there on the company profile. All right, we've got the first call on the phone. Remember, use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead.
How's it going, Walter? I just had a couple of quick questions. I collect benefits for my son who's disabled, so it's the DAC benefits, as you would call it.
Sure.
And then I just had a quick question because we're supposed to get a victim compensation fund once I fill out all the application.
Sure.
And that might be a large settlement, so I don't know if Mass Health or any other company will essentially step in and take most of that money. And then I also had another question about if I inherit a house, if the insurance company or disability will be able to stop that process.
Well, Medicaid might be able to get somewhere in line with that process of tapping it. But all right, so the first thing was victims' funds. Can you give me a little background on that?
My son has lead poisoning. He's had lead poisoning most of his life. And the company that was doing the lead testing, it came out that they were doing accurate testing. So they have a settlement that says, like, if you are affected for delaying the treatment, which obviously he was, and they contacted me telling me to fill out the form and application once it all does process.
Okay, so the child is probably receiving partly SSI, partly DAC benefits, or is it all DAC benefits?
I'm assuming it's all DAC benefits, but I'm not really sure.
All right, so you want to find that one out, because remember, if the child has additional funds coming in, you have to see how they're going to be categorized in the settlement, and then you have to see if the SSI benefits are in some way going to be reduced as a result of those funds being received. So, bottom line is, first question I would say, before I can really answer that, you got to find out what types of benefits he's actually receiving. He might have a hybrid allowance. Now, for the second question, when it comes to the house, SSI people are allowed to have, one house. What benefits are you on?
I don't receive any benefits. I still work full time.
Sure.
But my son is disabled, so I get benefits because of him.
Okay. So kind of the bottom line here is that's not really going to affect you in any way, this way or that way. Somewhere way down the line, Medicaid might try to attach to that house. But in the immediate sense, it's not really going to have any degree of change or modification to the current situation. But do me a favor, call the SSA, find out if he's on a hybrid benefit allowance, and then you can always give me a call back Monday or Thursday or Tuesday or Thursday whenever I go live. Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thanks, Walter.
Absolutely good, sir. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Perfect. So as you can see, that's kind of how we do the calls. People just call in. I don't have anybody feeding me information. A lot of these attorneys do. They've got somebody feeding them the law and stuff like that. I just have to go by, owning a law firm for 11 years, almost 12 years now, and working for a bunch of other attorneys in the field. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live right now. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
Hi, I had 3 questions.
Okay.
Maybe you could answer these. What happens if you receive FTR and years later you get approved for SSDI, and then you get a CDR later down the road? Do you lose SSDI? What happens to FTR, or do you lose everything altogether?
When you do a CDR, and okay, so when you say okay, so all right, so the real question is SSDI benefits. Okay, a CDR, continuing disability review, occurs. What's the outcome of the CDR? Is the outcome that you're not disabled, that you are disabled, that you're fraudulent? Like, what's the outcome?
No, what happens if you just lose the SSDI completely? Do you also lose FTR too?
The phone's coming. Are you saying FDR or FTR? Like, what?
I'm sorry, FDR, a federal disability retirement?
Oh, okay. So we're talking about like fair stuff like that. So, all right. So bottom line is this. Well, I mean, it depends. It depends. If they find that you committed fraud while claiming that you were disabled, or, what?
No fraud. No fraud at all.
So why are you losing SSDI benefits? Like, what's the reason that they're taking them away?
Well, I'm not losing it at all, but I just wanted to prepare for the future because I've been watching your videos. I was like, man, they could take away for anything. So,
yeah, but they got to have reason to do it. You know what I mean? Like, so if this is a thing where you've improved medically, or there's fraud or similar fault, you know what I mean? But if you are truly disabled, you keep going to the doctor, you keep doing all that stuff and keeping the medical documentation up, then you should be okay. But if you're going to lose SSDI benefits, I have to know why you're going to lose them to let you know if the federal benefits are going to be affected as well.
Okay. And real quick, my other 2 is, am I done with the attorney once I win SSDI?
Yeah, that's the end of the relationship. I mean, I still answer calls from people after I've represented them, and because everybody after I represent them, I let them know, like, hey, there's stuff you need to know about CDRs, CDI units, stuff like that. So then I help them with that stuff. But most attorneys, once they win the benefits, like if you call them, they're pretty much like, I don't have any access to your claim. That's it. Thank you so much and bye. I tend to prepare my claimants for what comes next. And that's because I don't want them to lose their benefits, because I've got a lot of homeless claimants who do a lot of wrong stuff. And then I have to go in front of the judge again and blah, 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 blah. And, it's a whole hassle. I'd rather just get them and keep them.
I see. Okay. And my last one, is it normal for the Social Security Administration to call to verify your information, like your address, your date of birth, bank account?
Yeah, sure.
Because they called and they said I was approved, and they were double checking information.
Yeah, they're required to. Yeah, so it's called a pre-effectuation interview, and that's where they interview to see if you that's where they interview to make sure that you meet the non-medical requirements, which for SSDI people is just basically a call about like, what's your routing number, what's your account number, where do you live, how do we get you the money, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, so again, this is how this type of show goes. I basically just answer questions, kind of easy peasy, straightforward. We don't usually get as many viewers or likes on these videos, so I'm hoping that if you could hit the like button, if these videos do help you, if you hear a question that you're like, oh, I didn't know that, then consider that option. We're going to wait until the next caller comes in. We did miss a couple of those other ones were calling in, so I'm going to see if they call, and if they don't, I'll go and click on them and basically load them up and get it rolling. So, but we'll wait for the next caller to go ahead and call in. And yeah, so I hope the audio is okay, by the way, because we have a new mix board that we're using. So let me know if it is. Let me know if it's good to go. Let's see what we got. All right, no callers coming in. We're going to try out this one real quick and see if we can get this person on the phone. Let me see if we can get this person on the phone. 1 second, room. Let's see if we can get it to ring. Hold on. Let's see if we can get it to ring. There we go. Very good. Very good. Very hi. This is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
I turned 64, and I was disabled when I was 62. It took at 60. It took me 2 years to get it.
Okay.
I blew my back out, and I was wondering if I'm good to go or should I worry?
I mean, like, here's the thing. You're 64 now. You're really close to retirement. Unless there's like fraud or similar fault, something hanging over the horizon. The other thing is just be careful what you post when it comes to pictures online. Because the thing is, like, when they've got pictures and they've got a company that can like search your face and scan your face on images that you post online. So if you're like on a boat fishing, you know what I mean? Like, that's going to call into question stuff. I know that there's a group of veterans who are receiving 100% PNT compensation. And, they're out on their boat having a good time, blah, blah, blah. And, the VA is starting to crack down on that stuff. And like, they're like, what the hell? But just be aware, like, you're probably not going to get a CDR unless they find something.
Right. I know you probably don't know nothing about operations on the back, but what do you think about putting two bones together?
I mean, that they do it all the time with fusions. It's not uncommon. You got to remember, you only do back surgery unless there's no other option. So
there's no other option.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you got
the shots, I done wore them out.
Yeah. So, I mean, if there's no other option and, you've got a great surgeon and they're going to go in and basically work on that spine and, just remember that spinal cord, it's important, So,
I know.
Yeah. So the bottom line I would say is this, you only do it if it's an absolute last option. But I guess what I would say to you is this too, like the other thing, make sure you've tried all the different pain medications and stuff like that before you go and take that next leap. Because when you take that next leap, it only comes in two ways. It's either a little bit better or it's bad. There's really no middle with those albums.
That's what a lot of people warn me about.
Yeah. So,
So I haven't had no problems with getting the money. They even paid me back for like 18 months.
Sure.
About not when I was waiting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate your advice.
Perfect. Absolutely. You have a wonderful, wonderful day, good sir. I'll catch you later. Have a wonderful night.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so we're going to wait for the next caller to go ahead and call in. So one of the things you have to keep in mind with basically this system is, here we got the next one. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question?
How you doing?
Good. Walk me through it. What's your legal question?
Oh, I just wanted to say that you've been helpful in the past. I appreciate it.
Oh, very good. Absolutely good, sir. Thank you. Well, so do you, any legal question at all, or are you just kind of checking in to hang out? How can I help you?
Well, I wish you would talk a little more about SSI. Sorry, there's some latency here in the call, so.
Oh, yeah. You just mute the video on your side, and it'll just be us talking through the phone. Yeah, if you mute the video there, you'll be okay. But, okay, yeah, I mean, I do some videos on SSI. I guess I could do some more. There's just been so much going on in the news about Social Security in general, and there's so much going on with Congress now. Remember, Social Security is usually something that a lot of politicians just stand back and watch it crumble. So it's interesting to see, like, things are happening,
Sure. I guess my question would be more specifically directed at someone who's on SSI. How do they get back to work without losing their benefits? I mean, if someone's still sick but really needs to work because of the, how the economy is bad. It's still costly to live anywhere, and SSI doesn't cover enough. So, I mean, what can one do to, I mean, other than to go back to work full time and maybe lose their benefits and then get sick again? Then it's like playing Russian roulette.
Sure. Okay. So, I mean, what I would say is this. So SSI doesn't have as many options as SSDI benefits, like the 9-month trial work period, stuff like that. So the main thing with SSI is the ticket to work program, the 5-year option where you kind of work your way off of benefits. I mean, that's pretty much the mainstay way that they give you a carrot to work your way off of the SSI benefits. But, a lot of people fail at that because they start working, they get worse.
Yeah. So you said that program is called what again?
The ticket to work program.
Okay. And can you kind of maybe give me a brief synopsis of how that works real quickly?
Yeah, sure. So the ticket to work program is the carrot to allow you to keep more of the money you earn. And then they're going to transition you over a 5-year period into being able to just do that job or other jobs instead of receiving benefits. So the whole idea of that entire program is to get you to wean yourself off of the benefits by working at different jobs and building your income. So, they have a marketplace of jobs that you can choose from. They have employees at the SSA that kind of work with you to try and get you to be successful with it. They also have a lot of restrictions on it to make sure you stay on the straight and narrow with actually trying to work there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, in your opinion, is it beneficial to try that, or is it better to try on my own through, private or, other government agencies?
I mean, you can find jobs however you want to find jobs. You know what I mean? Like, that's up to you. You don't have to use the marketplace of available employers, but, just you got to find one. You got to test the water. You know what I mean? You got to make sure you can actually do this. Yeah.
That's my concern. And a person on SSI, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, but they lose their SSI once they start working right away, or they deduct whatever you earn dollar-wise or take it out of your monthly stipend or check, correct?
Yeah, there's a $20 rule, $65 rule, and then for every $2 you earn over that 65, they take away $1. And then basically, if you earn over $1,620 per month, then you're ineligible for benefits. But if you're in the ticket to work program, you can earn over that.
Okay. So how many months of work, or how much substantive gainful employment before they kick me off the program, if that makes any sense?
I mean, if you're earning over $1,620, you're not eligible for the program. You do that for enough months, let's say 4 or 5 months, they're going to begin the kickoff process.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there still, if one got worse after that, health-wise, how would you get back on SSI? You wouldn't have to go through the full, gauntlet again, so to speak. Won't they reinstate it if you petition them to?
Yeah, they will. Sometimes there's punishments or whatever, but yeah, they'll basically put you back onto the program.
But they have actual jobs for people who want to try to go back to work, or?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know the SSA had that, so that's great.
Yeah.
And anyhow, where's your dogs? I love your dogs.
Oh, one of them's in the kitchen.
Now?
Yeah, Sweetie's in Florida. Shadow's with me, but soon I'll be back in Florida. So it's one of those gigs where I'll have them both back together. But I had to bring Shadow up here. Took him to Dr. Dice, who's like the ultimate veterinarian surgeon when it comes to hip replacements. So, but he was not a candidate for surgery. And the thing was, when I got to the hotel, I basically was like, so I got there. I didn't want to have to bring Shadow up through the entranceway, because there's always people you know what I mean, like walking, you know what I mean? And then he's going to bark at people. And it's a whole thing. So I took him through one of the side doors, but the side doors have stairs and I was on the 6th floor. So I had to basically walk, you know, up the stairs 3 times up and down. And Shadow was doing the walking and I was doing the walking, but Shadow was fine. I was like, this is not the sign of a dog that basically needs a hip replacement. He's in better shape than I am. My knee needs surgery. You know, he's making it up and down these stairs without any issue. So it went from a thing where a couple of weeks ago he could barely walk to he was going up and down the stairs of 6 flights 3 times. So,
oh wow,
you know, it's I wouldn't have known that unless I went to this hotel. You know, and I didn't realize how expensive hotels were now. Massively expensive. Like I used to, like, in my head they were like, you know, $100 to $120. Not anymore. No, they're like 200, 250, stuff like that per night. And I'm just like, how in the hell? You know what I mean? Like, you know, but you know, it just is what it is. But no, it just he's doing well, but I've been putting him through some therapy by walking him a lot and doing stuff. So, you know, we're trying to build up muscle wall. So yeah.
That's the best therapy there is right there. Hydrotherapy. So you don't get them in a pool swimming around.
Yeah, I was looking at those.
Weight off that joint.
Yeah, Alibaba had those. Yeah, but excellent, good sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Okay. Hey, I appreciate your help, Mr. Hnot.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. So real quick, I just want to do Interior Family True Crime join the appreciation, which I super appreciate. And then Robert Davis also joined the appreciation membership. Jay Lane also joined the appreciation membership. James Moody gifted 5 appreciations, which is absolutely amazing, to Todd Metzger, Vact, Yakub, Scott Jones, Julie Albert, which is absolutely amazing. So I really, really appreciate that. James Moody right there. That's really, really, really amazing of you to do that. So with Shadow, I was looking at those water treadmills for dogs. The only kicker is that they were very, very expensive. So it's one of those things where I was going to have to save a little bit, but they do sell them overseas and like make them and then deliver them and then you put them together. So I was definitely looking at that as a potential for him, but he seems to be doing okay with just longer walks and stuff. So, you know, rock and roll from there. All right. We are 22 minutes. Basically we usually go to about 30 minutes. We're going to wait for, and I see we missed a bunch of phone calls real quick. I'm just going to call the last one who called in. I'm just going to hit this one real quick. We'll get the person on the phone. And then basically from there, oh no, now another person's calling. Hold on. We're going to take their call real quick. Hold on. Oh no. And as I click it, it didn't, she clicked off. Hold on. Let me see if I can get her back real quick. And the phone froze. Hold on. Yep. Phone froze. All right. So hold on. Let me fix this real quick. All right, we're just going to take this one. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm 36 years old. I live in the state of Connecticut. I have schizophrenia, back pain, depression, and anxiety.
Okay.
I have my court hearing April 29th. It already passed, and now I'm trying to figure out, the judge stated that there's not enough evidence.
Okay.
So that's my question.
What was the question?
The question is basically, because there's not enough evidence, do you think that I'll be denied?
Well, yeah, there's not enough evidence to do an adjudication. They can't finish the adjudication. So like they're probably going to send you to their doctor to go ahead and basically review you to see if you're as severely impaired as you claim you are. And then their doctor will pass judgment on your current standing. And then they'll just kind of go from there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's all I had to ask. Thank you.
Absolutely good, sir. You have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Perfect. We got the next caller calling in. Hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We are live on YouTube. Remember to use a fake name throughout this process. What is your legal question? Go ahead. Oh, I can barely hear you. Go ahead and just try again. I don't know what the deal. It's on speakerphone on my end, but I can almost tell that there's somebody talking.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go. Howdy, howdy. Yep, go ahead.
Hi, my question. Oh, let me turn down this.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay, my question is this. I have had my case open for a year and 4 months. I was doing it by myself.
Mhm.
I just got a lawyer a month ago. I received my 2 appointments, the mental health appointment and the physical appointment from the SSA.
Perfect.
Just before I was due to go, they called me and canceled both appointments and said they had enough information from my doctors to decide the case.
Mhm.
In my opinion, that should work out. And I could be wrong, but in my opinion, that should work out in my favor, because if they needed more evidence in order to decide my case, they would have told me to go through with those appointments. My issue is this, and just being frank, I don't think it's fair if my lawyer gets 25% after being on my case for 1 month. But I do believe she did send in a form for me. So I do believe that she should get money for her services. But I don't think I should wait until the case is decided in my favor and then she suddenly get a windfall of 25% on a case that she didn't do anything hardly on. How do I handle this situation in a fair manner?
So the first thing to kind of remember with this stuff is that you, the claimant, don't usually know what the attorney is doing. So one of the things you got to figure out first is what the attorney actually did. And the way you can find that out is when they make what's called the fee petition. That's where they send in for all the hours that they spent, submitting forms, creating motions, talking to the SSA, etc. And what usually happens is there's a shocking moment where you, the claimant, see all the things that they did and review it all, and you're like, I don't know any of this. How could this be? Blah, blah, blah. And the reason why is because we don't call you guys when we're doing stuff, because we can't keep you up to date on everything we do, because it would be impossible. Like, we don't get paid enough to do that on these claims. Now, on your claim, you've only been waiting for, you said, a year and 4 months, and you're assuming it's going to be a win. Now, when they say they've got enough evidence, it could be a win, it could be a loss. What your real question is, has your claim been submitted to the quality control division? If it has, it's very likely an approval. If it hasn't, and it's gone straight back to the local field office, then it's very likely a denial. If it is an approval, you're saying you don't want to pay the attorney. If it's a denial, you're saying, probably, I'm assuming, you're not going to bitch or complain. You want the attorney to appeal it, take it to recon, and fight it at that point. So the thing is this: you can always appeal the decision of the SSA to pay the attorney if you feel the attorney shouldn't receive more. You can always submit to them your reasons why. There's not much back pay at this point, because remember, I'm assuming SSDI, correct? Not SSI?
It's SSDI, and although I only filed a year and 4 months ago, my date last worked and the date that I'm claiming is 2 years, 0.5 ago.
Yeah, okay. So remember, a total of 5 of those months at the beginning and the last month in which you're found disabled do not count. So yeah, I mean, it can add up. It totally can. But you should really see what the fee petition says, because, well, now here's the other thing. There's no other attorney on the file. So what you'll do is you'll go ahead and submit a request that you disagree with the attorney's fees. The attorney will then likely submit a fee petition outlining all the things they did. And then from that point, basically, just so you know, the judges usually just give the attorneys their fee of 25%. And the reason why is attorneys in this field get gypped all the time on fees. So let's say an attorney represents somebody for 5 years and the court continues to turn the person down and say, no, they're not disabled. No, they're not disabled. The attorney then, for those 5 years of representing that person, makes nothing. Pays out money, but makes nothing. So when there's usually a win, the judges on tendency will pay the attorney whatever the full attorney fee is, which is the 25% of the back pay. So just to kind of set your expectations up front, it's very likely that the judge will side on the favor of the attorney to go ahead and pay, the attorney's fee of the 25%. Keep in mind also the attorney's fee is less than what attorney's fees are normally. Normally an attorney's fee is 33% unless you have to go to a hearing/trial, then it goes up to essentially 40%. Whereas your attorney in SSDI land for Social Security only gets 25% if they win. So the attorney takes on risk, but what you're more concerned about is how much did the attorney actually do? And you don't know whether or not the attorney did something that was pivotal to winning the claim, like finding something in the record, pointing it out and saying, hey, this gives her a listing level. Hey, this gives her a grid out. This gives her a vocational allowance, yada, yada, yada. So you're operating from the idea that she submitted one form and that was the whole thing. That may not be the case. If it was a big box firm, very likely the case. If it was a smaller disability firm, then very unlikely the case. Because what they're going to try and do is build the claim to win the claim to get more referrals. Because the big box firms, they collect money from personal injury and then pay all that money to basically advertise on TV and billboards to get as many claimants as possible. So the little firms can't afford, $40,000, $60,000, giant billboards. So they rely on word of mouth. So their game is to get as many claimants as quickly as possible and as many referrals as quickly as possible.
Well, thank you for your point of view. And you had some very valid points. And because I was going to terminate her. I was just going to terminate her and ride it out and see if I won or if I didn't win. But I'm not going to do that due to what you said, because I did think about the fact that you guys do some cases and never win and thus never get paid. But I just didn't think it was fair. When I'm sitting here looking at my little check to say 25% is going to go for 1 month's worth of work. But like you said, she probably has done things that I have no knowledge of. So you set my mind at rest, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep in mind, too, if you go to fire the attorney right before the claim is decided, if the claim is approved, then the judges almost always just pay the attorney the max fee. But remember, there's another thing here, too. When a client fires an attorney, that attorney usually goes ahead and submits their, withdraw from representation, but not for fees. And then other attorneys will not usually pick up representation if you get a denial, or if they see something in the record where the person did this, they won't represent them in the future if they go through a CDR where their benefits are pulled back because they saw that they potentially medically improved. So just be careful with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're right. I'll just let it ride through. I'll just chalk it up as being her up point on some of her down points. Thank you.
But call the SSA DDS rep and ask the DDS rep, hey, was my claim submitted to quality control, or was it submitted? If
you mean was it submitted to the next stage in the decision? Yes, it was submitted to the next. They sent me a notification saying that it was submitted to the next stage, stage 4, whatever that is. And when she told me on the phone, she said, what exactly did she say? She said, no, we have everything we need from your doctor. Your doctor was able to give us enough information for us to decide your case. So that's what she told me. So
remember, that could be a win or a loss, but what you want to do is call the DDS rep, the one that called you, and ask them, hey, was my claim submitted for quality control, or was it submitted directly to the local field office? If it goes to quality control, likely approval. If it goes to the local field office directly, likely denial.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
You too, sir. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Perfect. So that's going to be our final call for the night because we do about 30 minutes. We're at 34 minutes so far. I will catch you all a little bit later. You have an amazing and wonderful, wonderful night. Please remember to be kind to each other. Please remember to be nice to each other. At the end of the day, as I almost dropped this thing, at the end of the day, please keep in mind Mondays and Thursdays, I usually go live to answer questions for free. These videos never have a lot of viewership because there's not a lot of likes or thumbs up. So please hit that like button, hit the thumbs up button if you appreciate me basically on a Saturday night at 1:15 a.m. going into Sunday, basically answering questions for people for free. That's what I try to do. I'm trying to help out the community because there's so much wrong information out there. But anyways, Attorney Walter Hnot, like, subscribe. I go live on Mondays and Thursdays usually. Also, if you have another attorney or you have a question or you already have benefits or you're like transitioning into disability benefits or CDRs going on or they're investigating you, mini contract below for a 1-hour private consultation where we go through the whole thing. I will catch you a little bit later. You have a wonderful, wonderful night and we'll go from there. Attorney Walter Hnot, thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.